What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the stream. And today for you, we are going to wrap up our first season with those Las Vegas Vipers. Our first season has not gone great, but we were expecting that, especially after we kind of traded everybody at the deadline. We kind of tanked the rest of the season. And you see, we sit there at a 59-90 record. You see some of the breakdown on the right side of the screen of how bad we really are. 30th in pretty much everything. Contact for 21st, but that doesn't really matter because everything else is pretty bad. So we're going to take you through and start showing you the end of the AA season is here. We are not going to make the playoffs in either the AA or AAA, so I'm going to show you some of the performances of our minor league players here. As you can see, Tyler McDonough, he finished the season on a tear. Actually got that slugging up over 400, so I would say Tyler McDonough had a pretty good season. He's a solid utility player for us, so good to see him get some good growth on the year. Will Robertson, he picked it up at the tail end of the year. Really good power numbers, a little over that 200 ISO, so we're really happy to see the growth for him. He's already 24 years old, so I don't know if we're going to get him to the majors at some point, but still, we need some organizational guys, and for him to hit for that kind of power is pretty good for us. Carson Taylor came back from injury. He cooled off pretty significantly after coming back from that torn hamstring. But overall, I think he had a pretty good season. You see some of those growths, especially that power, +6 and the power against lefties. We did push Davison De Los Santos into the AA for the last 15 games of the season. He didn't do that much. I'm not surprised. I mean, with his age being 18 years old, I'm not too worried. Just wanted to get him in there, see what he could do. Honestly, overall, pretty good growth on the year. Not too upset with that. Cole Rodura did not have a great season. He was good early on and then really tailed and cooled off in the second half. Casey Schmidt didn't even hit for a slugging over 300. This is one of the prospects we got in the prospects roulette. I don't know. With how poorly he played this year, I might not bring him back next year. We'll just see how the roster shakes out. Kevin Made, I'm very happy with. He was struggling for the first half of the season. I sent him back to single A just so he could kind of get some bumps back, and then he really picked it up in the second half of the season. Actually, it was like -4 on that contact left, so good to see him bounce all the way back to a +2 with a strong second half. Drew Millis is another guy we got in the prospect roulette. I might just bring him back because organizational catchers are nice to have around. And I think that's everything I want to highlight for Michael Goldberg. He's an organizational guy. Actually, pretty decent season, so he'll probably be back because of the utility piece there. Nobody else I want to highlight from the AA lineups. Beck Way, up and down season. He was ice cold to start the season. Then he was hot through the middle, and then he cooled off at the end again. Only 22 years old, so still got some time to develop for him. We brought Alec Willis up into the AA roster near the end of the season. He did okay for being 19 years old. I'm okay with that. Chris Clark was not super sharp. Don't know what we're going to do with him yet. Sean Burke was pretty bad, but he's only 59 overall. However, he's going to be 23 next year, so he's going to be a make-or-break season for him next season. Dylan Dodd was decent on the year with a 4.14 ERA. Bryce Bonnin struggled for most of the season, but really picked it up at the tail end of the year. You see those pretty good numbers across the board. We did push Brian Medina into the AA roster. He did decently. Jeremiah Estrada took off. No bumps in those K per 9 numbers, but everything else seemingly was on point for him. So that is good to see there. We'll probably get him into AAA next year. He might be something for a bullpen in a year or two. So that's something to keep an eye on. A couple of filler players. Aiden McIntyre had a pretty good year. So did Miguel Romero. And then Abner Uribe really settled down, got those walks in check. You see he got some bumps to that base on balls per 9 and that control. So we were pretty happy to see those progressions. Okay, so the AAA season is going to be done here shortly. We're going to sim to the end of the AAA season. We'll keep that taken care of. Okay, so we will sim this last game here. Okay. So let's go check out how some of the AAA guys did. So we did pick up Stevie Wilkerson after the trade deadline because we needed some organizational depth, and he ended up popping off. Look at that slugging, 504. So I accidentally signed him to a 5-year contract because I hit the X button too fast when I pulled up the contract detail. But I'm going to keep him around. I'm actually okay with it because I need organizational guys for the time being, and he can play at AA, AAA, or sit in single A as a depth guy. So actually pretty good numbers. So not too unhappy about that. Adam Hall did come back off of the injured list, but not the greatest season for him. The pop in his bat needs to improve if he wants to try to make it into the major leagues. Dalton Kelly might put him on the 40-man roster in the offseason. I know he's just an organizational filler, but pretty decent season at AAA for us, and he's got some versatility. He can play first base and those corner outfield positions, so that's nice. Tyler Gentry, we pushed into AA. Power numbers could have been a little bit better, but overall I'm pretty pleased. It's unfortunate he got hurt early in the season because he ended up, when he was on the field, playing outstanding. So that's a guy to monitor next season. Luis Gonzalez was just a pickup for some depth. Anderson Tejada was a pickup for depth. Ivan Herrera did not have the best season at AA, but that's okay. He got some pretty strong bumps across the board, so I'm pretty happy with that. We will see if we're going to start him in the majors next year. Probably going to depend on how he does in spring training. We did try to get Gunnar Henderson into the AAA level. He did not play well at AA all year. Did not play well at AAA either. A little bit displeased, although one thing I will say is he didn't lose too much in the contact and power right categories, and he did make massive gains in the contact and power left. So he was already pretty far advanced in the contact and power right. So in terms of hurting his development, I don't think we're that far off. So hopefully he can bounce back, have a good season next year. Jeter Downs started slow for us, but picked it up down the stretch. He'll be in consideration for a major league spot to start next year. And then I did not notice this, but apparently Anthony Benboom was an all-star for us. And I sent him back down to AAA because he was not playing that well anymore. But I'm happy we got what we got out of him for the first part of the season. And then, yeah. So actually played decently at AAA in the end. So switching over to the pitching rotation, Parker Dunshee did end up back in the minors. Gave us some good innings for the time being. Can't be too upset with him. So AAA numbers on the season, pretty good. We may keep him around for depth for next year because, he had some success in the majors at times. So we might keep him around one more year. Brian Bello was very good at AAA. He was in AA when we acquired him, so I put him straight in AAA, and he was dominant. I don't think I'm going to start him in the majors next year, but we shall see. Maybe give him a bullpen role. I don't know, but he was very good at AAA in the short time that he was there. Asa Lacy, we pushed at the end of the season to get to AAA. He is very good. He is developing very quickly. Bo Brisk looked great on the year. Probably should have given him a consideration for a major league rotation spot because some of the other guys we called up did not do great. Then Kyle Nicholas did okay in AAA. Wish could have been a little bit better. We're going to see. Next year's probably a make it or break it season for him because he is going to be 24 years old. Riley Thompson, overall, not a bad season. Might switch him into a full-time relief role. He might be better suited for that. Luis Frias, couldn't find a roster spot for him in the majors, but he had a good season at AAA there. And then that is all to speak of from there. So let me just check my lineup real quick. No, okay, I did not have Kingery in my lineup. So, okay, we are going to sim to the end of the season here as well. Okay, Aviators missed the playoffs, so did the Rockhounds. We don't want to stop for that. Okay, and then we are going to sim this last game as well. Okay, so let's check out the Major League guys. So Santiago Espinal, that's an excellent season. I can't complain one bit. I guess I'd complain a little bit because I'd like the average to be just a smidge higher, maybe around 290-ish, but that's really being nitpicky. Good on-base percentage, slugging percentage over 400. He does not hit for a ton of power, and we know that, but he plays good defense. So overall, pretty satisfied. What was his final WAR on the year? 2.8. 2.8 for Santiago Espinal. I'm very happy with that. Was really a staple at the top of our lineup all year. Mickey Moniak picked it up late in the season in AAA. I got him into the majors, and I pushed him into that 2-hole. That's a pretty good slash line. Only 123 at bats, but I like that. If Mickey Moniak can play like that in the coming years, we might be okay for the next couple seasons as we try to rebuild this squad. Strikeout numbers could have been a little bit better, but he's taking his walks, so that is good. The Yerminator has been outstanding all year. I mean, that is crazy. The WAR is 2.3 for a full-time DH is impressive. So really happy with the Yerminator. I think he's maxed out on potential. I might give him an auto bump myself because with this kind of a season with 366 at bats, the game should, in my opinion, register that this guy should get at least a small bump to his potential. So we're going to go in to make sure that he got one for sure because he deserves it with how he played. Lars Nootbaar cooled off at the end of the season, but overall the numbers not so bad. Like to see him take a little bit more walks with that on-base percentage, just barely above 300, but overall can't complain too much. He's a pretty good defender, so we know we get that. Andujar picked it up at the end of the season in the power department. The average, I can handle the average at 245 because that slugging is off the charts over the 200 ISO. On base percentage, you'd like to see him take more walks, but his discipline is in the toilet, so that's no surprise. Really good bumps to those power numbers, so I'm happy with how Andujar finished his season, so excited to see what he can be in the middle of our order going forward. Taylor Trammell, despite having a killer season at AAA, did not translate well to the majors. He actually lost a couple of points to his vision. Unfortunately, what did he finish with his strikeout rate? 41%. So Taylor Trammell, I don't know. Maybe Mickey Moniak could be starting in center field next year. Maybe Taylor Trammell, maybe a free agent. We don't know. We'll see who's available in the free agent market. Carter Kieboom had a pretty bad year at AAA, did not go any better in 13 games in the majors. I might just start him in the majors next year in sink or swim time. He's running out of time to achieve that beat potential, so time for him to prove it or get cut. Rene Pinto, though, I got to be honest, I did not see this coming from Rene Pinto. I thought he was going to be a backup catcher for us going forward, get passed up by some guys like William Contreras and then Ivan Herrera, but I think Pinto might be our starting catcher next year to start the season because 292, 314, 477. What was his WAR? 2.3. So he spent most of the season in a platoon role with Anthony Bemboom, and he was playing against lefties. But I put him in there the last month and a half of the season, and he kind of played really well. I think he upped his average and his power numbers. So really good season from Pinto. Nicky Lopez, I need more than this out of him. I know he plays great defense, and his WAR is probably halfway decent, but I need more than that 258 average. The slugging doesn't bother me because I know he's not going to hit for power, but if we can up that average by about 30 points, I'd be a lot happier. What did he finish with his WAR? So only a 2 WAR. I'd like to see him more around 3, so we're going to really need to get that bat. I tried to train his contact numbers all year. Just couldn't quite get the bumps. He got the bumps against the righties, but not so much the lefties. So, yeah, we're going to need a little bit more out of him if we're going to be successful going forward. PJ Higgins, unfortunately, did not perform great in his time in the majors. Only 57 at-bats, but we'll probably hang on to him because I like PJ Higgins, his versatility. He was playing second base for a little bit in the Major League roster because he does have that as a secondary position. Scott Kingery heated up at the end of the season. Kind of built a little bit like Andujar in ways, more power than contact. Again, I'd like to see him take more walks, and that average probably 20 points higher would be nice. Slugging, decent. I can handle that. He's going to steal some bases. He stole 13 bases, and he plays decent defense. What was his total WAR? So 0.8. Like to see a little bit more out of Kingery, but we'll bring him back next year because we need that defensive versatility coming off our bench. Zach Short started to hit a little bit better at the end of the season. Don't know what I'm going to do with him. Just mainly is going to depend on how do things shake out on our roster, what type of guys are available in free agency. Greg Deichmann did pretty well. He was kind of up and down, fluctuating in terms of performance, but it seems like he finished the season hitting pretty well. Almost a 170 ISO. I like to see him take a few more walks, especially because his discipline is 62. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to have Greg Deichmann back. I like what he could bring. Mickey McDonald, you know what? I'll take it. It's nothing too crazy. I'm going to keep him. I might get him off of the 40-man roster and pass him through waivers because I just don't know if I want him on the 40-man roster. But he's a guy I definitely want to keep in the organization for no better reason than his name. But not a bad player as well, and has that defensive versatility, so that helps us out. Okay, so Glenn Otto did not pitch very well. What was his FIP? Yeah, so his FIP wasn't great. He really struggled with the walks and the home runs. We're definitely going to keep him around because he's 72 overall. He's one of our better pitchers, to be honest. So he'll be in discussion for probably a back-end rotation spot next year. We'll see how that pans out. Carlos Hernandez heated up down the stretch. What did he finish with his FIP? So 4.56, not bad. Not bad. He's up to that 77, so there was some growth this year, which is promising. Touki Toussaint, not great in 6 starts. not where that FIP is even higher, and that got murdered with the home run ball, which is pretty typical of how his career has gone so far. Probably keep him around because, again, we don't have many high-end starting pitchers. So Justice Sheffield did heat up at the end of the season, so I was thinking about just like dumping him after this year, but good end of the season might keep him around for consideration for one more year. Civano did not pitch well for us. His ERA was like 3.2 when we got him, and now over 4, but decent track record, innings eater, so we're definitely going to keep him around. We're not going to, we traded for him, so, but hoping to get a little bit more out of him in next year. Sean Newcomb did bring that ERA under 5. His FIP is 3.68. I'm not worried about Sean Newcomb. He looks like a pretty good, at minimum, long relief piece for us in the future. Dylan Coleman, who we got from the Kansas City Royals, I might go in and make sure that he gets a potential bump because he's only 71. I might bump him up a little bit more because he threw 51 in the third innings. That's quite a lot of innings, and he was pretty dominant. What was his FIP? 306. So, I mean, he's definitely better than a 71 with how he performed. So I might give him a manual potential bump as well. Jay Jackson, not too bad. Jason Adam, excellent season. Tyler Ivey pitched well both at AAA and in the majors. Let's see, what was his FIP on the year? 3.3. So really like what we're getting out of him as a mid-relief / long relief pitcher. Brooks Rally's pretty good. We'll bring him back. I think I might bring back Kenyon Middleton. He up to that 72 overall. FIP not great, but he's got some good stuff. Blatch will not be back next year. He was just a guy for organizational piece. And then Pierce Johnson, the ERA doesn't look great. The FIP actually got up over 4, so not the greatest season from Pierce Johnson. Still going to be our closer next year probably, unless we bring in somebody different. Hopefully he can perform better than he did this year. So just checking out the guys on our injury list. Guys have been here all year, Dakota Max and Nick Gordon. Really disappointed that Nick Gordon got hurt. I was interested to see how he would play. Definitely going to bring him back. He might be in the discussion for starting second baseman next year. Not sure. We'll see how the roster shakes out, but we're definitely going to have him on our major league roster because, I mean, he didn't even get a real chance. 4 games in, dislocated an ankle, and then was done for the season. So that was kind of unfortunate for us. So, all right, let us sim to the end of the season. All right, regular season has come to an end. Let's simulate the playoff. Well, actually, you know what? So let's sim a week. Let's see how the teams progress here. So, all right, the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Seattle Mariners in the AL wild card and now are even with the Yankees in a 1-1 series. And then the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks and are now down 3-0 to the Dodgers. Okay, let's sim another week. So the Yankees did take the series against the Blue Jays in 4. Kansas City traded for Joey Gallo. How did Joey Gallo finish the year? Let's go check out that real fast for... Wow, I cannot click on the right thing. There we go. It took me like 4 tries. So Gallo on the season actually picked it up quite a lot. I think he was hitting 170 when he was playing for us. So it looks like that Gallo trade may have paid off for the Royals. So they're in the ALCS now. I can't believe that they're going to be too upset about it. Okay, but they're down 2-0 to the Yankees, and the Dodgers are playing the Phillies, and they're up 2-0. Wow, the Phillies swept the Cubs. That's no surprise to me. All right, another week here. All right, so the Yankees swept the Royals, so unfortunate for the Royals, but they did make the ALCS, so very good for them. Their roster is in promising shape. It'd be interesting to see if they re-sign Joey Gallo in the offseason. The Phillies did put up a fight against the Dodgers, forced a Game 6, but we are now with the Yankees and Dodgers World Series. I could not think of a worse World Series to watch, but here we are. Okay, so Game 1, Garrett Cole versus Walker Buehler. That is a victory for Walker Buehler. Game 2, Luis Severino, Julio Urias. That's another victory for the Dodgers. So we go to New York, Montgomery versus Bauer. Oh, it looks like a sweep. Garrett Cole versus Walker Buehler. And the Dodgers have swept the Yankees in the 2022 World Series. Really no surprise. On paper, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball in this game. They look like the best team in baseball, so there are no surprises with that. So, yeah, pretty anticlimactic. Nothing too shocking happening there. So, all right, let's take a look at some of the awards. So your World Series MVP, Mookie Betts. Pretty good World Series for him, 375 average with 2 home runs. Checking out postseason MVP for the American League, Anthony Rizzo. He hit 333 with 1 home run. And then for the National League, Freddie Freeman, 357, the newly acquired Freddie Freeman, and 4 home runs there. Cody Bellinger hit 5 smackaroos. Pretty good season for Cody Bellinger. So bouncing back from that struggling 2021 season that he had, he's right back on track. So, all right, MVP. Wow, Walker Buehler edged out Juan Soto. What was oh man, I'd have given this to Juan Soto. I mean, look at the 316, 392, 654. There is no way that Walker Buehler was better. No way. There's just no way that Walker Buehler was better than. But this game hands out. Let's see, maybe it was because of the wars. So war 7.4 and 6.1. You know what it is? It's probably determined based off of the wars. And a guy like Soto is never going to win MVP because his defensive numbers kind of drag down that war number a little bit. So I don't like how they decide how to hand out MVPs in this game. It always seems like the guy who finishes second probably should have won it. But here we are. Mike Trout in the AL, 354. Holy well, I'm not going to swear on stream. Oh my Lord. I know I didn't overrate Trout in my roster. Oh, he got plus 12 bumps to lefty contact and plus 7 in power. So that was all performance in game. It had nothing to do with the ratings I gave him. What was his WAR? He had to be like over 10 or something, didn't he? Yep, 10.5. Jesus. That ranks as his only his 3rd best season in his career. He's a machine, I swear. Cy Young winner in the AL is Garrett Cole, and it's going to be Walker Buehler in the NL. No surprise there. Batting title, Juan Soto and Mike Trout. No surprises there. Chafin is your reliever of the year in the AL. 48 saves for the Detroit Tigers. And then Corey Knebel over Blake Trinan, who had 60? I guess Knebel had a really good ERA. But damn, Trinan was 60 saves. That hasn't happened in a few years in the majors. Okay, Rookie of the Year, O'Neal Cruz. No surprises there. Pretty good year. What was his overall slash line? Hit 21 homers, but that's not a great slash line. Wow. He did not grow that much overall this year. Not the best season for O'Neal Cruz. Not quite sure how he won Rookie of the Year. Probably just wasn't a lot of competition. Bobby Witt in the American League. That's no surprise. That's a pretty good year from Bobby Witt. Good for him. Hank Aaron Award winner, Mike Trout and Juan Soto. Gold Gloves, we've got Sandy Alcantara, Zach Plesac. Nobody in the... What? That's got to be a glitch. Nobody in the AL won Gold Glove for catcher? That's weird. JT Realmuto, no surprise there. Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins? What? What? Wow. Yeah, Rhys Hoskins is never going to win a Gold Glove in his life. Never. Anthony Rizzo at first base. That's like his 3rd or 4th Gold Glove. Trevor Story at second. That was a little surprising. Cesar Hernandez at second. Brian Hayes, no surprise. Alberto Mondesi. He's in AAA? That's weird. That's weird. Okay, Francisco Lindor, no surprise there. Wander Franco picking up a Gold Glove at shortstop. Giancarlo Stanton. He's not even a left fielder. He's a DH. Oh, this game is weird. Okay, this is going to be the last time I look at the Gold Gloves because they're just weird. Tyler O'Neill, prime time defender. You see he's got 3 straight Gold Gloves in left field. Center field, Robles and Kiermaier. Kiermaier, a great center fielder. Aaron Judge in right field. I can see that. Starling Marte in right field for the NL. Silver Slugger, Michael Lorenzen is going to be the only pitcher. Well, yeah, because I'm surprised that they even have this as an option anymore. But yeah, I mean, Lorenzen is the only pitcher who took hits, and he was hitting for us. How did he finish the year? It doesn't look like he got too many at-bats once he switched over to Arizona. Okay. So American League, JD Martinez, Mitch Garver, and JT Realmuto, Trey Mancini, and Vladimir Guerrero at first base. No surprise for Vlad. Very big season for Vladimir Guerrero again. Ketel Marte at second base, Jorge Polanco, Yohan Moncada, and Nolan Arenado at third base, Bo Bichette and Tim Anderson at shortstop. Mike Trout, Luis Robert and Jordan Alvarez in the American League outfield. National League, we've got Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos. Wow, nice outfield for the Phillies. And Juan Soto, of course, for the NL outfield. And then that is it. So I am going to go and set up the offseason. Not sure if I'm going to go do a full-length offseason or just give you guys a recap. But anyways, in the meantime, in between time, I want to thank y'all for tuning in and checking out the squad. I am excited to see where we go from here. There's a lot of work yet to be done, but that's okay. I'm ready for it and kind of excited to see where things go from here. So I am out of here. I will see y'all later. Have a great rest of your day. Deuces.